We're here with Mississippi College head coach John Bland as we look ahead to tonight's game against the University of North Alabama in Florence. And we'll look back first of all to the game last week against Florida Tech. And Coach, I know you're disappointed in the loss, but the way this team came out and played with those two long touchdown drives to start, I think really said something about their readiness to play after a very long road trip.
Well, we know it's a couple of things that are difficult about that, being on a long trip. It's an understatement. It's a long ways, almost 13 hours on the bus. But we did it all on Thursday. Then we had a day to kind of recuperate and practice on Friday. Got out there on Saturday, and I felt like we had a good plan, both offensively and defensively. The trip's one thing, and then Florida Tech's another. They're very good. They've been a playoff team over the past few years, and they're as good as anybody in our league, offensively and defensively. They're a really strong defensively team. As far as points allowed and against the run, all the things that have made it difficult for us in these past few years versus them. And that wasn't the case this time. That first drive was 21 plays. I think it was 20 plays with a penalty on another play that we accepted the penalty. We actually ran a play, but that's 21 plays where they had the ball. Our defense did a good job of stopping them and holding them to a field goal. And then we ran the rest of that quarter out and scored in the second quarter. That was unreal. That's a good feeling for the offense and really a good feeling for the defense. You see the defense over there, one of their goals is to go 3 and out. They don't want to get in the game. Offense wants to stay on the field all the time. And we reached those goals. Our defensive guys are thinking, man, are we going to get to play for a while? And that was a good feeling there, and it's a good way to start the game.
Tiberius Lampkin had a career rushing night, 126 yards. This Choctaw team is now second in Division II in rushing yards per ball game, and it just speaks to the ability to control the clock like they did in the first part, and that's a big part of the Choctaw success this year.
It is, and I know clock possession is very important. It is obviously it helps the team, and it's good. The more plays you can rest your defense, the better they perform. And the more that we keep their defense on the field, I think the better our offense performs. So it helps in a lot of ways and gives ourselves a better chance to win each and every week. And I know we had more than a chance to win that ball game. I know we're all upset about it. Our players are mostly upset because they knew they were good enough to win that ball game.
Well, talk about the players and their reaction, being a little upset to being the loss. I think that's a sign of maturity as well. They know they can compete. They're going out and competing. And they're a little upset when they come up short in those situations.
No doubt, and they're not satisfied with just playing well and playing good. They want to win, and that's the thing is you just gotta. In football, it's a unique sport. It's one of the only sports that every game counts, and you want to win in every sport. You want to win every time, but so many sports where you can lose and lose several and get on a losing streak and then come back and win the tournament, or you can get a late run because there's so many games. And you can turn the season around. And in football's case, though, every game counts so much, and it's very tough mentally and physically. Obviously, it's difficult too. But mentally, of trying to keep the morale up is probably the most difficult, just because you play once a week and that's it. And so our guys have a challenge ahead of them. They know they're good enough to win every week, and to do that, though, they have to be 100% mentally strong because it is a game of physical and mental, and also just having a great teamwork. So there's a lot of things that go into that, and it takes all of them, not just one or two.
I think the offensive line has been a real highlight of this team this year. They've only allowed 2 sacks, and as you look at what they have done, very few holding penalties, it seems like, and sometimes that's an indication that they're doing their job. They're not getting beat. Talk about the play of this line this year.
Well, they have done well, and I tell you, Coach Weiser's done a super job because this has been a transition of offensive philosophy and scheme, so these guys are learning as well. Even the ones that are new that haven't learned our old offense, they have come in. They haven't run the option in high school as well, so it is something that he's done a really good job with the help of Coach Laurendine and his scheme. Been really, really good. As far as protecting the quarterback, they're getting better and better at that every week. And our quarterbacks are mobile. You know what? Sometimes you don't give up sacks, not only because of the offensive line. It's a big help, but they've gotten better. But having a mobile quarterback is able to avoid those defenders. And I think when Dietrich's in there, he does that. and it helps us out as well. So getting rid of the ball. I think the better we run the football, though, the less defenders rush the quarterback. They're not going to rush the quarterback like they do in weeks past, and all their preparation is to get to the quarterback and sack the quarterback. Well, we're running the option. And so they've got a lot of things to think about and to prepare for, and I think that helps our offensive line as well. But they've done a super job. They're getting more and more aggressive. They're getting low and using their leverage and letting that weight room take over, where Coach Shoemaker has done a super job of moving and controlling that line of scrimmage.
You know, this team could very well be 2-1 in conference play, and perhaps
Yes.
the difference is the turnovers in the two games that the Choctaws have lost. At this point of the season, what do you as a coaching staff do to remind these players how important it is to take care of the football?
Well, I think in every turnover, every one of them, I believe that was not forced by the defense. We've had one that got poked out of there in the last game right before half. It didn't hurt us. They missed a field goal. But the other was not forced by them. We put the ball on the ground, and that's part of option football. It's part of just handling the football in any offense, just taking the snap, handing off, that kind of thing. So we've got to continue to work, and our footwork and everybody's path is exactly right. A lot of times in a simpler offense, quarterbacks can put his eyes in the pocket of a ball carrier and help with that. Now our eyes are on defenders. And that's part of the triple option. So we've got to continue to work on it and get better, and I think we will, and we have. You know, when we started off, I can't remember how many turnovers we had against West Florida, but I think it was either 4 or 5. 5, and that didn't happen in the Florida Tech game. We did have 2, and one of them was costly. You know, one could have been costly for 3 points. The other was costly. They scooped it and they ran it 80 yards. So that was one that wish we could have back. And you never know when that's going to happen. You know, they had a ball on the ground. We tried to scoop it, and we didn't get it. We were going to get 6 points too, but we didn't. And they called double batting on that one. I've never seen that called, and you know we won't get into that. But I've never seen it in all my years, the 30 years of coaching. But it happened, and so turnovers are very important, and for us to create and for us not to give on offense.
Well, North Alabama is this week's opponent. They're in transition from Division II to FCS level of Division I. They played West Florida, lost to the Argonauts by 5. West Florida, a very good football team. What does that say, and what have you seen on film from West Florida that's going to help the Choctaws win this game?
Well, first off, 5 years ago when we made this transition, when we started it, I wish we could have played all the Division III schools that they're playing.
That's true.
They're playing Division II and they're moving up. I wish we could have done that. Instead, we were right into the conference. And that's not what North Alabama, what kind of deal they made there. But they should have made it even better, because this league is tough. And just like West Florida showed last week, they went up there and they beat them, and that's what we're going to do as well. And I feel real good about that. They are a good football team. They've started to increase their scholarships. So, yes, they've got more than 36. I don't know the level they're at right now. But, you know, without talking bad about North Alabama, I know they're a good team. They're very similar to a lot of teams in our league, though, and which they were in just a year ago and 2 years ago. So we feel good about our chances. And like we were talking about earlier, if we control the things that we feel like have been the difference in us winning and losing, if we control those things, and we will, that's what we've been working on, and I think we'll have a good chance to win.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks, and good luck in the game.
You bet. Thank you.